Hi and welcome to Module 16, the Core Summary. The challenge with any strategy development program, just like this one, is there's no single exercise or app that you can punch in a bunch of variables and an answer spat out telling you exactly what you're needing to work on and what your best strategy is. The overall strategy development process is one that takes time. It requires multi-party input, reflection and forethought. From this process, a bunch of options are considered. The best ones are chosen, and some are actively avoided in order that do not negatively affect the chosen strategies. Remember, strategy is as much about choosing what to do as it is about choosing what not to do. So with that in mind, here's the hard truth. At the time of creating your strategy, there is never a best strategy. There is only the best educated effort in selecting or creating one. So after some time, you can look back and you can have an opinion on the wisdom of your strategic choices. Sometimes they will look like excellent choices and you'll pat yourself on the back, and other times less so. I'm emphasizing this because when making your choices, the options are seldom crystal clear. Compromises have to be made, and there will always be unintended consequences that you have possibly not foreseen. The core summary is really just another one of these exercises, but it does require a lot of skilled judgment, but it's one that you really do want to get right. If you don't, you could be directed down the wrong path altogether. So take note of my cautionary notes and dedicate quality time and focus in developing your core summary in this module. Great, let's move on. The core summary is made up of 3 relatively easy steps. And step number 1, when you consider your niche, what are the aspects of your product or service that your customers value the most and the least? Note, this is about your overall offering and your ideal or targeted customer or niche. It is not necessarily what you're doing right at the moment. For example, let's say you're running a residential plumbing business. You reflect on your existing experience, then you undertake a survey with your ideal customers, and if you can, some of your ideal prospects as well. Then you reflect on your FFWA exercise, and lastly, you rate the following in order from the highest to the lowest in terms of priority or importance to the customer. Ask this question to yourself. To be an exceptional plumber, my customers most value 1. And so we've done this exercise, and this is the result. They're rated the highest. Number 1, reliable in terms of meeting promises and being timely. 2, trustworthy. 3, guaranteed work without deceptive fine print. 4, competitive and fair pricing. 5, neat and tidy and respecting the customer's property. Number 6, genuine positive reviews including 5-star reviews. 7, likable and approachable. 8, lowest price quoted. 9, recognizable brand. And 10, pride themselves in their work. So if you're a plumber, don't steal these ones because I just made them up. You need to find what your customers value most for your business and within your target niche. If you have more than one niche, then you may need to replicate or duplicate this exercise to find out what your particular niche for the particular product or service values highest or lowest. Step number 2, now consider how you are matching up in terms of your delivery in each of these aspects. As this exercise is very subjective, don't get bogged down with the details. Simply rate yourself as or from 1 to 5, with 1 being like you really suck at it and 5 being you are experts at it. So rate yourself. And then step 3, now you need to rate your competitors in terms of their level of expertise in each of these features. Once you have completed this table, and you can jump into your workbook to get that, draw the results in a graph format so that you have a great visual look of how you are, how your competitors are, and how your customers actually want. Once you have drawn up the graph, we need to interpret it. So you'll find that in your workbook. So this over here is showing what your customers value most. In other words, they value that the highest, this the least. They want this level of excellence from the highest to the lowest. That's what you want. If we have a very strong correlation, what you'll find is your graph, this green one here, will closely match the black line over there. And this will be a great outcome. From a strategic perspective, this would indicate that you need to continue building on your current expertise to ensure that your ability to deliver in these areas, which are your primary point of differentiation, gets stronger and stronger. If there's a weak correlation, like we've got over here, we've got black and we've got all over here, this indicates something else. The two lines need to be as close as possible together. So, two options in this situation. You could consider changing your area of excellence to match up to the areas that your customers demand. Or two, you could consider exploring a different market or niche where the areas that you have excellence are valued and rewarded. Well, and here's another one. What do you do if you presently do not have any areas of excellence? And I have come across this before. Often there is, but it lies into that fourth quadrant where we spoke about consciousness. So, let's just say you're lacking in a particular area of excellence. This could be a bitter pill to swallow. You will need to make a decision if you have the energy, the dedication, the ability to excel in the areas where your customers need your excellence. If you decide to develop this expertise, then I would suggest you employ a laser focus on developing one area of capability at a time and do not move on until the next area, until you've actually mastered the first area basically. If you believe you are unable to excel in the areas where your niche expects excellence, then itemize a few areas where you believe you can excel and then explore to see if there is a customer niche that you can sell into, or could you create a new niche altogether? The following is another tricky situation that you may face. How do you identify what customers value if what you are developing is new to the market? Essentially, this would mean customers do not have a clear expectation of their own need because they're not familiar with your product. What I recommend in this situation is that you reframe the question so that they cover both what is currently available in the market and what you're offering. Sometimes a 5 why exercise is useful here, in order to drill down to the true underlying needs. As an example, and this is certainly not documented science, but how did Nokia, the dominant mobile phone player, seemingly ignore the introduction of touchscreen mobile phones as a realistic threat? Should they have rephrased the question around what the customers really wanted? Not in terms of wanting a touchscreen, but what the touchscreen technology provided the customers. Your core summary will highlight a key aspect in your business, the results of which, if you get it right, will ultimately drive your potential success or profitability. It defines which customers you want to deal with and which you do not. And that way you don't waste resources on poorly matched ones. Plus, it helps you define how you are going to maintain a point of difference between you and your competitors. Let's run through a couple additional hints. Number one, you cannot be everything to everybody. You may already believe in this, but strip this down even further. Strip down your offering and your messaging to a narrowly defined niche. Most companies do not go far enough in fine-tuning their offering or defining their target audience. Number two, excel in just a few areas. These will be the areas where you develop your strategic advantage. It is very difficult to be the best in more than just a few areas. Examine what the possible outcome of this narrow area of focus is. Is this targeted niche big enough for you to flourish in? Number three, could your weaknesses or your weaker areas possibly be considered as an asset? One of the advantages of publicizing your weaker areas is that it immediately detracts prospects who value these areas that you suck at. That is a really good thing, as you don't waste your time and your resources in trying to service them. In addition, it allows you to send a very clear message on what you are strong at, and this is appealing to your target audience that you're actually trying to attract. This third point is really significant. Remember, an effective business strategy is as much about identifying what you should be doing as it is about identifying what you should be actively avoiding. Let's run through some examples. The Commerce Bank in America, they entered the banking sector with a completely different offering. They recognized that limited opening hours and poor customer service were the key grudge factors for customers. They built their business around culture to excel in two areas around service, and they paid for this by openly acknowledging that they had the lowest rates on deposits. Southwest Airlines, very well known, also an American company. They recognize that flying is a cost-sensitive decision for the majority of passengers, and that customer loyalty is earned through outstanding customer service. Southwest Airlines has been the most profitable airline in the USA for decades, and they've achieved this by stripping down the costs where they mattered least, and at the same time setting up standards that their competitors could not or would not follow. For example, they only use one type of aircraft. They don't cater for any seat selection. They avoid or maintain they avoid all the main air terminals and only use the regional ones. Another one that you may know very well is Walmart. Well, Walmart offer the lowest prices on a massive range of products because this is where the niche, and a very large one, expect them to excel at. They have an automated and very effective customer feedback system, and to fund it, the whole strategy, they decided to strip costs in other areas of the business. For example, the aesthetics, the comfort, the lighting. These are the areas where the customers have lower expectations. So now's the time to jump into your module and spend some quality time reflecting and nail it.